Let's bring in our guest, Peter Chung, Head of Research at Presto Research. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. You know, when you take a look at the performance of cryptos, and I just want to highlight Bitcoin in particular, which is precariously close to its 2025 low of 78,000, you really wouldn't think that the US is now determined to make it the crypto capital of the world. You'd almost think that they'd turn their back on crypto. Why do you believe that we've seen such a disappointing performance in the cryptos since this announcement?
Yeah, I mean, I think the short-term price actions are usually driven at the margin, and so I think at the margin we have macro traders basically zigzagging between expectation and reality, and I think their expectation may have gotten ahead of itself a little bit. I think what they were looking for were some specific numbers being announced in terms of U.S. government actually acquiring Bitcoin in the open market, and that didn't come through. But when you think about it, no one actually, Trump never actually mentioned that he did talk about stockpile, but he didn't really talk about Bitcoin reserve. I think the media kind of used these two terms interchangeably, and that led to some confusion in the market. So I think that kind of partly contributed some maybe unfair expectation in the market. I think in terms of what they've delivered last week was massively positive, and I would even go as far as saying that it could not have come out any better way, because what they've done is they did a nice carve out of a Bitcoin from the rest of the crypto, and then basically stated that the Bitcoin is a special asset separate from the rest of the crypto assets, and then they put it in the Bitcoin strategic reserve, which they said will can increase if they can find a budget neutral way to acquire more in the market. Whereas I think for the rest of the crypto assets, which is by the way very small, if you look at the on-chain data, you will see that the Bitcoin accounts for 99% of the U.S. government holdings of the crypto assets. So non-Bitcoin assets is actually very small, and they're going to put that in the digital asset stockpile, which they've said is not. They're not going to spend any more resources to acquire that part for that part of the crypto assets. And so I think the fact that they actually had this nice carve out is a very good thing. And not only that, the White House actually. If you look at the executive order at the beginning, they talk about the Bitcoin's scarcity and the security, and called Bitcoin digital gold. And this is something that you could not have imagined 6 months ago. The U.S. government is actually taking on the role of explaining to the public and to the world why the Bitcoin is special. And this is not some internet influencer shilling Bitcoin. This is the U.S. government we're talking about. So I think they actually over-delivered in terms of their message.
Do you believe that any of the concerns regarding conflicts of interest between President Trump's personal interest in crypto and, of course, the development of this strategic reserve, do you think that we need to be concerned? And how might that affect the stability and credibility of the reserve itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one part where I wish that the Trump maybe didn't actively engage with the part where they issue meme coins, and also his family getting involved in the DeFi projects. But having said that, I think the White House is doing the best they can to stay transparent, so that their credibility is not compromised. And I hope that they keep up that effort going forward.
What about the credibility for the crypto market? Because as I look at the trade, Peter, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if obviously you have your own perspective, but when rates are going down, people start selling Bitcoin, Ether, and other cryptocurrencies. When rates are going up, people start selling cryptocurrencies. When rates are going down, people start buying cryptocurrencies. What is the price telling you at this juncture about where the market is, and where can the price go from here?
Well, I think you're right. And the Bitcoin is sort of although it's a digital gold, and people talk about it as a safe, inflation hedge. It also has an element of high-tech stock. So because it's a network, and we are at the early stage of the network growing and into the mainstream. So it behaves a little bit like an internet stock in certain ways. And that's why it's considered a high-risk asset. The fact that the Bitcoin price has kind of not performed as well as people might have had hoped, I think it indicates it's a reflection of a lot of macro concerns that the market have at the moment. But I think going forward, I mean, I think macro is going to play some role, but also there are some very Bitcoin-specific positives that can propel the stock higher and outperform the rest other risk assets. So I remain optimistic on the price outlook.
It's interesting that you call Bitcoin digital gold, because in the last 1 year, gold, the real gold, has actually outperformed Bitcoin. But we leave it at that. Peter, thank you very much for joining us and giving us your take on the cryptocurrency world. There you go on your screens. That's the tally. Okay, we'll take a short break right now. Come back with more.